Hello and welcome to this video. We're going to look at vocal Sheva and silent Sheva in this video. Let's go through the rules first. Vocal Sheva and silent Sheva. Vocal Sheva occurs at the beginning of a word or a syllable, and the opposite happens for silent Sheva. It happens at the end of a syllable, and therefore it's known as a syllable divider. Of course, silent Sheva ends the word. Now, in most Hebrew words, you will not find the silent Sheva at the end of the word. One word you will find the silent Sheva is in the final kaf, and in that you will find it in a raised position. Remember, the Sheva in the final kaf is silent always. Okay, where else? Vocal Shevas. Vocal Shevas usually follow long vowel. Silent Shevas usually follow a short vowel. Vocal Shevas is an alpha. If you find a consonant with a dagesh forte which has a Sheva below it, you can be assured that that is vocal. Always. It is always vocal. And the logic behind that is this particular word is being broken up into two contiguous, of which the second one is always vocal. Therefore, you are pronouncing it. Hebrew will never allow two Shevas to come at the beginning of a word. It will never allow. But Hebrew does allow two Shevas to come in the middle of a word, or at least not in the first position. In that case, the first one is a silent, the second one is a vocal. We do have instances, please bear in mind, where you have two Shevas which will come at the end of the word. In this case, both of them are silent. That's just how it is. So let's do some exercises now. This is a simple one. Here you have a Sheva at the beginning of a word, and if it appears at the beginning of a word, it is a vocal Sheva always. Here's a word which has a yod with a kerek. It has a kaf with a simple Sheva. You have a tet with a dot in it, and you have a Sheva below it, and you have a bet and a shurek at the end of it. The question is now, what is what? Remember, when two contiguous comes, this is a silent Sheva and this is a vocal Sheva. Alright, which is not surprising because this silent Sheva comes, you see the vowel before it, this is a kerek which is short, and therefore you could expect a silent Sheva there. That also explains that this dot inside the the tav is a dagesh lene. Now, because this is vocal, because this Sheva is vocal, have you noticed the lene is missing in the bet? The lene is missing in the bet. See, a lot of gymnastics happen in a Hebrew word. Let's try another one. Here's one. It's just got a lamed with the kamets and a final kaf with a Sheva. A straightforward case, a Sheva at the end of a word or a syllable is always silent. This is one case where you will observe the silent Sheva come into the picture. And this is because the final calf is being used. So final calf will always display the Sheva, not down, but right on top. Okay, bear this in mind. So this is a silent Sheva. This is an interesting one. You have a Beth with a simple Sheva. I don't know whether it's silent or vocal at this point. I will investigate that. You have a Dalit and you have a Patak below it. You have a Beth with a dot in it and you have a Sheva below it. And you have a Resh with a Kirek Yod ending it. So this should be pretty straightforward. It begins the syllable and therefore this is going to be a vocal Sheva. Now, what kind of a dot is here? You see, to answer that, you'll have to figure out what kind of a dot is here in that Beth. And to answer that, you just have to look left, rather right, and look diagonally down. And you can see there is a Patak there, and therefore this cannot be a Lene in the Beth. This is a Dagesh Forte. And if it is a Dagesh Forte, you know the rule. Any word which has a Sheva below it, any word which has a Dagesh Forte in it and which has a Sheva below it is always going to be vocal. So this is vocal. Because of the Dagesh Forte. Here's an interesting word. You have an Ain, you have a Kametz, and you have this Meteg here. Okay, remember we studied about the Meteg. It's a secondary accent placed in a word. You have a Beth, you have a simple Sheva below it. I don't know if it's vocal or silent. And you have a Dalit, and you have a Shurek at the end of it. The question is, what kind of a Sheva is here? And this Meteg will give us a clue. For that, you need to refer to, let me give you the page number 25 and 4.12, which says it can be either used with short or long vowels. In this case, it's a long vowel Kametz that stands immediately before simple vocal Sheva. This is a vocal Sheva. So a Meteg is used with short or long vowels. In this case, it's a Kametz that stands immediately before a simple vocal Sheva. So this is nothing but a vocal Sheva. The Meteg is the only way to figure out. The second way to figure it out is, have you noticed this is a Dalit? Dalit is a Begat Kefat letter. You should have seen a Dagesh Lene in it, but you don't see it. And that's another clue that this is a vocal Sheva. Okay? No Lene. Therefore, you ask yourself, why is it no Lene? And the answer to that is because it's preceded by a vocal Sheva. If it was preceded by a silent Sheva, you would have definitely seen the Lene in the Dalit. Pretty interesting one. Here's the next one. You have a Kaf with a simple Sheva below it. I don't know what it is. You have another Kaf. You have a Kolen Vav. Then you have a Kaf with a simple Sheva below it. Then you have a Bet. And you have a Sereyod. Okay, this is pretty straightforward. This is a vocal Sheva. And that explains why there is no Dagesh Lene here in the Kaf, which is a Begat Kefat letter. And of course, this is beginning the syllable or the word, so obviously it's vocal Sheva. I come to this particular point. How do I figure it out? There are two ways to figure it out. One is, it is preceded by a long vowel. In this case, it's a colon vowel. You see, what is before it? It is preceded by a long vowel, that's colon vowel. Usually, vocal Shevas will follow a long vowel. That's what we said. And here it's a classic case of it's being following. Please don't, when I say preceded by a long vowel, or when I use the term it's following a long vowel, it's the same meaning. Okay. All right. The second clue where I know this is vocal is, if you notice again here, Beth, there is no Dagesh Lene. You should have expected Dagesh Lene, and that will tell you no Dagesh Lene in the Beth. That tells you this is pretty much a vocal Sheva. So these are two ways to figure this out. Again, another interesting one. By the way, these are all examples from page 30 that I'm taking. Page 30, which you had in your exercise, but reinforces the entire thing, concepts for you. Let's try this one. Okay, so I have a Vav with a Sheva, simple Sheva in the beginning. Then you have a Dalit with a Kirek, and you have a Beth with a dot, which I know is a Dagesh forte because you have this vowel here. Okay. Then you have a Patak, and you have the Munakia, which is telling you that's the accented syllable. You have a Resh with a simple Sheva. Need to figure it out, and then it ends with a Tav with a Kirek Yod. Okay, this is pretty straightforward. This is a vocal Sheva. Let's break this word up. This word can also be broken as, because I know this is Dagesh forte, I'm breaking that word up. It can be broken up like this. That's a silent Sheva because I'm breaking up into two parts of it. So I don't have to put Patak into both the places. The first one can be like that. Then I write my Resh. And I write my T. Now, if I were to break this into syllables, I can, if I were to break it into syllables, this is going a little bit advanced. What will happen is I start from here. It has to start with a consonant and have at least one full vowel, correct, to make a syllable. So here vowel is functioning as a consonant. Can I take a simple Sheva? By the way, this is vocal because it begins this. Can I take this? The answer is no, I need a full vowel. So I come here, Dalit, and you have the Kirek below it. And you can theoretically put a line here, but you see next to it there's a Beth here, and a Beth here has got a Sheva below it, which is silent, which is breaking the syllable simply because when Dagesh forte is broken up into syllables, the first syllable is always a closed syllable. So that means it ends with a consonant, and that's exactly what it's ending with a consonant, and this is the redundant silent Sheva. So you can break it here, okay, which makes sense also. This is a short vowel which is preceding the silent Sheva, okay, which means now you have another syllable here which is starting from Beth. Okay, I move to Patak, that will be included, yes, that part of the syllable, and I move to the next Resh, and I see there is this two dots here, and I figure, is it silent Sheva? The answer to that is yes, because I can see a Dagesh Lene here. It's not a forte, because if it was a forte, then you would have had you would have some sort of a vowel here under the Resh, but you don't have. You have just this one. So I know this is a simple Sheva, so I draw the line there because that's the syllable derider. So I've basically broken this into three particular syllables in the end. So in that case, this is breaking the syllable. This is rather a divider, and therefore this is going to be a silent Sheva. Here's another one. This is a Nun. You have a Patak under it, and you have the Meteg here. And then you have the Ain with the compound Sheva. You have a Beth with a Kolem and a Dalit to end it all. Okay. This is pretty straightforward. This is a compound Sheva. Compound Shevas are always vocal. Now, if you're wondering why the meteg is there, I recommend you read rule number 4.11, unit number 4.11, because that will tell you a meteg is used with short vowels, in this case it's patak, that stands immediately before a compound Sheva. And the compound Sheva is this one, the kate patak. So that's why the meteg is used. Now, this is one important rule you need to just remember. Okay, why is the meteg there in the first place? Okay, now because this is a compound Sheva and it's verbalized, have you noticed this bet has no lene? And because this is a kolen, therefore you will notice that this also has no lene. Okay. All right. This is regarding weak letters. Please remember that Aleph and He are regular, are actually weak letters. But when they appear at the beginning of a word, they function as consonants. So you have this word Av, which we studied as vocabulary. Here Aleph is functioning as a regular consonant simply because it has a nice kametz below it. All right. So you have the consonant, you have the vowel, and a consonant. Perfect. Okay, that's excellent. Or this Haya. You see, Haya begins the word. It's functioning as a consonant because there's a good, nice vowel below it. But notice in the same word, you have a he ending it. So he, when it ends a word, I always said to you, it functions not as a consonant, it functions as a vowel. And in this case, it functions as a matrix lectionis. So it's functioning here as a unit again, kametz he. If Hebrew wanted to make it a consonant, he replaced a he with a dot in it, the mapig. Alright, so he and aleph at the end of a word remain quiescent usually, or in other words, they function as vowel letters, or they form what we call open syllables, because open syllables are syllables that end with a vowel. Look at this word. This is a tav. With the patak, you have a dalet, and then you have a simple sheva. You have a shin with a sere, and you have an aleph. And aleph has nothing below it, so it is just functioning there not as a consonant, it is functioning there as a vowel. So when you're going to break this, remember aleph, which will be the end of the word or the end of the syllable, will be an open syllable. This is something you need to remember. Okay, and I think I pretty much covered what I wanted to teach you on vocal Sheva, silent Sheva, and weak letters. All right, I'll see you in another video. Thank you.